Factoring polynomials. Factoring polynomials. You already know how to factor, and as long as you went through it, there's no way for me to know, and there's no way for me to believe you. Michael? Florian? Thank you. Whether or not you've done factored monomials and polynomials in the past. So I'm going to go with the assumption of no, because we probably don't recall. But we do at least know how to factor numbers. We can all at least agree that we know how to factor numbers. Really quick in that sentence, right? We know what factoring means, because if I said factor 12, hopefully most of you would say 2 times 2 times 3, right? Because if factoring means break it down into some multiple, right? What multiplies to 12 is another way to say factoring. So when you factor, there is some division, right? So if I said what goes into 12, you'd say 3. I've got 4 left. What goes into 4? 2. So we get our 2 times 2 times 3. And it's through a division process, right? So we're going to do some monomial factoring really quick. So what we do is when we're factoring a polynomial, we're looking for the greatest common factor in every term. The greatest common factor in every term. Very easy stuff that we're starting with, 2x squared minus 12. What is the greatest common factor between 2x squared and 12? Josiah? 2. 2. Right? So just like with the number 12 earlier, if I factored 2 out of 12, I would still have what left over? 6. You guys know it's multiplication. You know we're using division. So when we do our factoring, I put the 2 out front, right? And if I factor 2 out of 2x squared, what do I have left? X squared. And if I factor 2 out of the negative sign, okay, we have 6. And we're done. We're done factoring this. That is, if I just factor out a GCF from a polynomial. We're going to do that again on the next one, 7x cubed minus 14x plus 21? Plus 21.
I know this one, Mr. B.
What is it, Alexa?
7.
7. And somebody else then, Alexa says we're going to factor out 7. Somebody tell me what's going to be left over, cubed. What's going to be left over, Sydney? What would be left? So what would be in parentheses after I factor out the 7? X cubed. Keep going. Minus.
What's 14 divided by 7?
2. And don't forget the x. Plus 3. Okay, Jaden, were you just going to want to answer? All right, so Jaden, I'll let you get the next one. We have 8x squared plus 2x. What goes into both those? 2. 2. Be careful. The smallest number is not always the front number. And here, the smallest number is going to be 2. But there's something else I can factor out of both these terms. Florian, what is it? We already said the 2. I said what else? The x. We can factor out 2x. So if I factor out 2 and an x, because these both can give up an x. This one could give up 2 of them, but since this one can't, we don't. Right? It's like each thing is, it's like if we were all chipping in for pizza, right? If we were all chipping in for pizza and we all had to chip in the same amount. If we were all chipping in for pizza and we all had to chip in the same amount. I had $100, Jaden had 75, Johnny had 32, Tim had 15, and you have $5, Sydney, fine. What are we if we all have to chip in the same amount, Sydney's the limiting factor. Sydney's saying that we can all only chip in 5 because he has the least. No, you're fine. You picked your amount, Sydney. So then now you're apologizing for what you said. Now, so here, sure, this one could give up 2 x's, but this one's only got 1 x in there, right? And I'm not talking about the coefficient. I'm talking about the exponent, right? So this one could give up an x squared, but this one can only give up an x. So since this one can only give up 1, that's our limiting factor, so only 1's being given up. So Jaden, when I take 2x out of 8x squared, what would be left? 4x, right? And if I take 2x out of 2x, what's left? 1. Remember, and that's where we have to remember that factoring is a division process. Factoring is a division process. So when I divide 2x by 2x, I do get that 1. And we can do a quick double check. This is going in the other direction. Is 2x times 4x 8x squared? And is 2x times 1 2x? All right, so our first step whenever we're factoring polynomials is always just to see. It doesn't always happen, but check to see whether or not there is a single thing I can pull out of all of them before I begin. We all right with that? That's the super easy part. Okay, factoring trinomials. Trinomials. This is, It doesn't, right? So factoring trinomials, back when I learned how to factor trinomials, I am going to stumble through this, I guarantee it. I never learned this Xbox thing as a student. I learned it as a teacher later, and I've never really committed myself to learning it massively. Because when it came to learning how to factor trinomials when I was a kid, it was, here are 100 trinomial questions, do them. And by the time you get done doing that a few times, you know, you've done 1,000 of these problems, you just know how to factor trinomials, right? But then I learned that there's this very concrete method that other teachers teach, and I didn't learn that until I became a teacher. So we're going to learn this, and they call it the Xbox method. This method came out actually before Xboxes came out, so it's not named after the game system or console by any means. So if we have a polynomial expression, trinomial, if we have a trinomial where it goes ax squared plus bx plus c, it is possible that it can be factored. It's not for sure it can be factored, but it's possible. You guys have already solved these using the quadratic formula, or you've done it by completing the square. We're going to see if you can do it by simple factoring a trinomial. So for example, we're going to do 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. So on the far left, it says, first we set up the x.
Can we draw that?
Yes.
That big?
Yes. Underneath that, like that far left column. You see how I kind of have it?
Where it says
Yeah. You see how I kind of set it up in 3 columns? You do that, fit into that column. Okay. Now, guys, what letter does the 3 represent?
X squared.
No. A. Thank you. 2 is, the negative 2 is, and negative 5 is C, right? All right. So in the top, we're gonna do our ax squared times c. That's a times sign. Ax squared times c. And what is ax squared times c?
15x squared.
Close.
Negative 15x squared.
Negative 15x squared. Stop, think, digest. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah. Dylan, I've got you can just throw this away, and I've got the stack of notes right there by the trash can on my desk. Johnny.
How can we start off with ax squared?
This is a process. This is just a process. Okay. Have you guys learned this? You guys know what I'm doing here? No? No? Okay. I'm just checking to see how we'd like to know. Okay. Down here, we put b. Which is what's b? Negative 2x. Okay. Right. So now we're no. We don't do that here, okay? So middle column. List possible factors that multiply to the top and add to the bottom. So what multiplies, so we kind of put, so right here.
Did we redraw the x?
No, it's not another x. Okay. Multiplies. All right, guys. Now each one has to have an x. What multiplies to negative 15x squared? Give me 2 things that multiply to that. No. 3 and 5. One of them is going to have to be negative. So, well, we just do them both. Okay, middle column. You doing great?
Better than I ever did when I took it.
Okay. All right. That's a multiplying dot. Did I miss any options? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay. There we go. Okay. Too much talking over here, guys. Minimum day. Got to get it in. Okay. Those are all the things Those are all the things that multiply to negative 15x squared, yeah? Those are all of our options that multiply to negative 15x squared. Now, hopefully, one of those sets adds to negative 2x. Does one of those sets add to negative 2x? Josiah? Yeah. Okay. So. Okay. I'm going to let you take that question back. I want you to read it and think first. Well, you can read without understanding. I know, I'm asking. Okay, read it. Read it first. No. Are you okay with this? Okay. So if you read the text, said read it, right? Right. So it's multiplies to this, adds to that. Stephanie, no? Stephanie, are you shaking your head no in disbelief or no, you don't understand? Okay, hold on. Guys, when I'm trying to help one student learn, I need all other communication to stop or be very, very low. Okay? All right. So, I need all numbers. I start, Stephanie, by listing all numbers that multiply to this. You're okay with that, yeah? But I also need to pick out of this set, do any of these two numbers add to that if I add them together instead? Negative 3x plus 5x makes a positive 2x. Negative 5x plus 3x makes a negative 2x, which is what I wanted. So I'm picking that one.
Wait, how does negative 3x times 5x?
Plus, I said. I didn't say times. I said, look at the sets. I said, look at the sets. Look at the sets of numbers, right? Do any of these sets, if I add them instead, will they make a negative 2x? Okay? Which is why I put down here, adds to negative 2x, and I put the plus sign between them.
Oh, you mean equals to negative 2x?
Adds to. Equals to means nothing to me.
So it ends up being negative 2x when you're done with it.
You're trying to rephrase it in some way that makes sense to your brain. I'm not going to agree with it because it's not correct. So, yeah. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, are we good so far? Sydney, do you have a question?
No.
Are you sure? Okay. So now that I've got my two numbers, I put those on either side of the x. Okay? All right. This is a process. I don't care for it. I actually don't. But my process is just look at it and know. So that's not like that's not a good way to teach, right? I'll be like, guys, here's this. No, right? It's not.
But if you taught me how to do that and I knew it to your level, then we'd all be good.
I started off what's called, and teachers look at it very poorly now. I started off learning the guess and check method, and what happens is after a while, after guessing for so long, you just start to know. You're no longer guessing. You're just no longer guessing, and so. But that takes lots of problems to get to that point. Okay. Now, next thing, we set up the box. That would be the only difference, guys. There is no way,
I don't think that's even, Mr. B.
shape, or form.
That middle line is not even.
Okay. Close.
No, it's not. The middle line is not even, Mr. B.
You'll live, Alexa.
But it's not even.
Alexa, if you want to get on me about my uneven line, then I will start marking you guys down for not drawing your shapes correctly on your tests and quizzes. Okay. Josiah? Not enough? Oh, you want it tilted more?
No.
I could do that. Oh. That's good?
That's good.
There you go. Yeah. Ah! Martina's triggered.
To be honest, that looks better than. To be honest, that looks better than just.
I'm not a box, so I assume so. Okay. You're welcome. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Ready? Okay. The top of the X goes in the top left box. The bottom of the X goes in the bottom right box. And the other two, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can put them in either side. The negative 5X and the 3X take up the other two boxes. It does not matter which order we go in.
It just kind of looks familiar. I don't know why.
It looks like. It kind of looks like a Punnett square.
Huh? Yeah? Or you were like with Mimi's. You know.
No, actually, no. I never was out of game because I just so many.
Okay, guys. Michael, Dylan? Madeline? Okay. We good, guys? Are there any questions on what I've done so far? We're going to practice this. The next page is just practicing this over, okay? All right. Now, we're almost there. We're almost there. So now we're doing greatest common factors going up and going left. Going up and going left. We're doing greatest common factors, up and left. Okay? So, whatever we got to do. Okay? So, come this way, guys. Going, oh, ooh, ooh, ah. Oh, ooh, ooh, ah. My apologies. My apologies. I got to make you guys do a little erasing. Oh, you guys react before you even know what it is. Stop it. Okay. These aren't supposed to have X's. My bad. That's all.
That's why I was kind of a little bit confused. Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. Those aren't supposed to have X's.
I don't believe in evolution.
Okay.
So you don't believe in self-growth?
Okay. Focus, please.
Oh, we don't have to put it X.
Yes, no X. I just said, Martina, welcome to class.
Why?
Why did cavemen in the early days they go ooh ooh ah just like monkeys? Like,
No,
bro, that's
not right now. I want to get through this example, Tim.
I don't, but like.
Okay, bring it back in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Greatest common factors. So, Samuel, I'm going to come up on this one. What's common between 3 and negative 2x? Huh? No, that's a multiple of them. I'm asking what's common between them. 1. Nothing is, so 1. When nothing is common between them, 1 is the greatest common factor. So out of these, 1 is the greatest common factor.
I know the next one.
Okay? Yeah. I did. Wait a minute. Give me everybody, and I need quiet. I don't want the teenage reaction really quick. I set up the square wrong. I'm trying to figure out where. I set up the square wrong, and I can't need to figure out where.
Hers, you'd have to have some pretty good like aim. Hers is just like hers is just get caught up.
Why are you wearing Eagles cross?
Oh, don't tell me that.
Oh.
All right, got it. Got it. The errors,
Your guess and check method that
the errors occur because I don't know. Like I said before, I only do this the 30 minutes a year that I teach it, so I forget it every time. All right. Huh? Well, it's only going to be less than that, but still. All right. Dylan, come on. My apologies. I knew I put an X extra somewhere, but so note once again, time-wise, I don't have the time for it. These do. These do. This does not. It was just this one X on the 2X that should be gone. I was in the wrong spot. Bless you. I was in the wrong spot.
Why shouldn't
now that you did that, why?
Why is there no 2x?
I can't answer pointed fingers and multiple questions coming at me simultaneously. Okay. Sydney. Because of the fact that, guys, when you know that when we get a polynomial, it's like it would look like x plus some, when we do the distributions and stuff. So I need to have an x in front and an x in front. So I needed to have something with an x here, and I needed to have something with an x here in order to know the final answer. And by removing the x's here, I wouldn't have had that, so I knew I had to bring it back in. Jaden, what were you going to ask me?
you forgot to take off the X on that one. That X.
This one? I'm good with that because that leads to this chart. Okay. Yes, Alexa.
So the X wouldn't be there. In 2.
It looks like it looks right now.
Yeah.
So I don't think I need to answer that question. I already answered that.
What you told me
Yes.
Which answered his question.
did not.
You'll see, I think you'll see it as we finish the problem then, Sydney. And if you still don't, go ahead and ask again and I'll clarify. Okay? All right. Still, though, between 3x and negative 2, there's nothing in common, so it's just a 1. Are we okay with that? All right. So between negative 15x squared and negative 5x, what's common? Sydney?
5x squared.
Nope, they can't. This one can't give up a squared.
Oh no, not negative 5.
So just, yeah. So that helps if I get it right.
I was gonna say his marker's out of ink.
What the heck?
It is incorrect.
What did I do wrong? I did something.
It was a negative 5. X.
Hold on. No. Samuel? Okay, that's too extreme. I've got no issue with what I did here.
Maybe you should switch the.
Ah. Gosh, I wish I did this more. No. No, I got it. I 100% have it this time. Amanda, unless it's something else, I've got what I got to do. Okay? Aaron? Patricia? Let's not worry about fixing whiteout containers.
That's sometimes how we feel when, like, in the middle of a test and we didn't exactly know what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we know, but we don't know.
I got it.
We know there's a box.
Now that I've got this is the problem with being third period. I don't know. So, my apologies. Is everybody reset back to the box? Are we okay? So, let me recap here. Are we okay with setting up the X? The X is 100% set up correct. There was no error there. Aaron, do you have any problem with the X? Aaron, I'm on the X right now. Yes, I did the box wrong. That's why it's erased. Okay? Shouldn't write in pen. Is everybody okay with the multiples in the center column?
Yes.
My apologies. Yes, you're good? Okay. So now setting up the box from the start. I'll wait for Stephanie really quick because she's still erasing.
No, you do it.
Are you sure? Okay, I don't want to like leave you behind. Okay. My apologies on what goes in the box. So the whole setup, the whole reason we do the X to begin with was just to get these two side numbers. What goes in the top left corner of the box is literally the first term. It's not the top of the X. I thought it was the top of the X for some reason, and that's what threw me off to begin with. It is the full first term. It is just A. A goes here, C is going to go here. A goes there, C is going to go there. I'm fantastic, I'm wonderful. This will work out. If this has an error in it, I'll give you guys like a 10% grade bump. I'm so confident, okay? So now you guys all hope I'm screwed up, right?
I've never hoped for someone's downfall way more.
Because I want to understand.
Yeah. All right. Now I go ahead and I put in the two sides of the X. The 15 only came into here for us to get the sides.
Then again, right, the corners of the corners of the x doesn't matter which way it goes.
Doesn't matter which way it goes. Okay. So. Okay. All right. So hopefully we're able to get one more in.
Don't touch it.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Still going with it, Josiah. No comment, correct? Okay. Coming up this way, Sydney. 5 and 3 don't have a common, correct?
They just have one x, right?
Just one x. Okay. Going this way, 3x and 3x squared. Alexa, 3x. If they're both negative, you will take the negative between negative 5x and negative 5. And that is my factor.
3x minus
Whoa.
That factors into that.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Done. Jeez Louise. Mr. Bates gonna sock myself in the face.
No, I think.
Did you? Wait, why'd you put 3x?
Yeah.
Mr. Bates.
Yes. Yeah.
I would have done that.
Okay. Guys, we could double check here. We get, if I double check, we don't need to do this in our papers. That 3x squared? Then negative 5x plus 3x, does that make negative 2x? And then minus 5, right? So there we go.
That's the method we're supposed to know.
What do you mean?
So we can do it this way.
Yes, this is yours. Okay. We're going to try to get in. Yes, Johnny. Yes, because you, just like up here, like I could factor a 2x out of that. That's what can I factor out of this? A 3x. All right. All right.
That's what I was wondering. You just said go this way and down. I had no idea.
Okay.
Oh, this really is the x block.
Okay. Okay.
Too fast, too furious.
Well, I mean, I'll stop in a second, but oh. Ain't nothing but a heartache. Huh? No, you did your square slow. Leticia agrees. Are there, while you guys finish writing, are there questions on what I did? Florian. Because what multiplies to negative 18x squared? 1 and 18 do, but I want one of them has to be negative. So it's either positive 1 times negative 18 or negative 1 times positive 18.
I know.
Yes. Shh. 1 second.
You know how you said a squared,
Ax squared times c. That's the formula. I mean, it's what I'm telling you now. It's the first time we're learning it. No. So it's like this thing. It's the first term times the last term. Yes?
What if the numbers start getting big?
They could. I'm going to try to not make it too rough on you, but they could. So, guys, I didn't go over this. It's not going to happen on this one. Do you have a so like there, Sydney? I'm sorry. You said so like, and then I started talking. Okay. Alexa? All right. So really quick, though, Alexa knows one of these does work. All these examples I gave you, they do work. Okay? However, if you get to this point and none of these multiply to the top and add to the bottom, then it's not factorable. Then you're just done. Okay? All right. So which one in here works?
Negative 3x plus 6x.
Yep. Between 6x and 9, what 3? Between 2x squared and negative 3x? 1x. I could just put x, Between 2x squared and 6x? 2x. And between negative 3 and negative 9?
Negative 3.
There we go. We're done.
The answer would be x plus 3.
There you go. Without any errors, it seems a lot easier. Without Mr. Bates screwing up like 4 times, right? It seems like something a lot easier. Yeah. Stephanie, you feel good about it? All right.
She said that she thinks you should still give them 10%.
Should you?
Favorite actor, Mr. Bates?
Huh?
Your favorite actor?
My favorite actor.
Yeah.
It used to be for a long time, and I don't know if it still is, was Dennis Quaid.